Just a recap of our top story. Premier League champions Arsenal are exploring a sensational deal to sign Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. The Brazil superstar has just 1 year left on his current contract, hasn't been able to agree a new deal with Real as of yet, and that means they may be forced to sell him rather than risk losing him on a free transfer next summer. Arsenal have yet to make direct contact with Real over what would arguably be the biggest transfer in Premier League history. Look, let's get more on this. We're joined now by the Spanish football expert, Terry Gibson. Terry, it's always lovely to see you. First and foremost, do you think he will leave Real Madrid?
I'm not so sure, if I'm being honest. I do wonder if there's a little bit of posturing from Real Madrid. They have made an offer to... He's currently on 15 million euros a year net, so that's after tax. They've offered him 20 million. He wants 30 million. So it's about just over 550,000 euros a week net. There's no budging on the contract from Real Madrid. There's no budging from Vinicius. And they're making noises, Real Madrid now, looking at a potential replacement in Jan Diomande from RB Leipzig. So it's kind of like they've got a year to go on Vinicius's contract. This has been ongoing now for probably 18 months where his contract hasn't been signed. The club are refusing to budge. The players are refusing to budge. But when you put those figures in the melting pot, it's hard to imagine, even Arsenal and even anybody in the Premier League, matching those sums of money. And we're talking net, not gross. That's all after tax. So he wants £500,000 a week after tax. It's hard to imagine anyone else can pay that. If Real Madrid can't, then I struggle to think anyone else can. And I do wonder whether it's Real Madrid, a little bit of posturing as if to say, right, we're not budging. Other clubs who are interested, take your pick. Or you've got to sign the contract now and we'll keep him for another 3 or 4 years. He's 26 years of age. I don't think they're desperate to get rid of him. I know some people are making a case that maybe it's Jose Mourinho who's trying to push him out the door because they had that controversial game against Benfica last season where Vinicius was heavily involved in all that went on and Jose Mourinho wasn't complimentary to him after the game. I don't think it's a case of that. I just think it's Real Madrid standing their ground, their centre, Vinicius Jr. You either stay at Real Madrid, sign a contract, or you can leave. And as I understand, he's not desperate to leave. I think Real Madrid is still his first choice, but he's going to have to budge on his demands.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because there's lots of kind of cogs in this wheel, isn't there? You talk about the Mourinho incident, you know, and whether that would be a part of it. It's interesting, though, because the Telegraph are reporting that Mourinho would actually oppose selling him. But I guess the bottom line is, if he won't sign a new deal, you know, if he's not getting the money that he wants, do they have no choice? I mean, they can't let him go on a free next year.
Exactly. I mean, this is, as I said, this has been going on for 18 months now, and there was talking going to Saudi when that was at its peak. That didn't happen. That was for, I think, something like £250 million. So it'd be interesting. No one's really mentioning the actual fee itself. Because his wages and demands are so astronomical, something we're not used to in football. We're used to players earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. But when you hear £500,000 net, that's after tax. So the club are going to have to pay him considerably more than £500,000 a week. I struggle to see any club coming up with that unless it is in Saudi.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a choice at the end of the day. Does he enjoy his football still? Does he still want to play for Real Madrid? And there's not many better places to play football. Or does he just want a new experience? But I certainly don't think he'll get, let's put it together, £700,000 a week.
Yeah, the mind boggles, doesn't it, over the figures?
Yeah.
You know, and Terry, you mentioned the fact that his time in Spain has been marred by numerous instances of racist abuse. We've seen the poor lad in tears at times over what he's had to suffer. Has he given any indication, though, that he wants to leave Real Madrid at any stage?
There have been outbursts when it's been at its worst, and he is the player that suffers most. And it's a hard one to understand because, you know, he's a super talented footballer. You do get that from crowds. If you're that good, you do get booed, jeered and whistled when you play away from home. But when he's singled out as often as he has been, then it has become a problem for him, particularly when he's younger. He's 26 now. He can handle it a little bit more. He shouldn't have to handle it. But when he was 19, 20, 21, in his early 20s, it was a tough watch, you know, watching a player as good as he is, going through that experience at 4 or 5 stadiums a season. It has calmed down a touch, but it's still something that he shouldn't have to suffer and we shouldn't have to suffer watching football. So But there have been outbursts where he has been on the verge. We've seen it. We've witnessed him in tears, and he's come out and said that does he want to continue playing in La Liga? But thankfully, someone that makes a living watching Spanish football, he's a joy to watch, and he hasn't decided to leave Real Madrid just yet. But this is the closest and the loudest it's ever been that he would leave. I didn't think for 1 minute he would leave Real Madrid to go to any other club in Europe ever. But it does look a possibility now.
Yeah, it certainly does. You say he's a joy to watch. We've just had the luxury of watching the most talented players in the world in the World Cup over the last few weeks. Where do you rank him? Where do you rate him?
Well, I thought he had a good World Cup. I mean, in a really disappointing Brazil team. I think he responds well to playing under Carlo Ancelotti. He was problematic for Xabi Alonso, there's no doubt about that. And then Alvaro Arbeloa took over and he returns back to form. But on his day, he's one of the top 10 players in the world. He's certainly, when it comes to attacking players, he's exciting to watch. He got a lot of criticism when he was younger because of his end product. Do you remember he was criticised by Karim Benzema in the tunnel telling his teammates, don't pass to Vinicius, it's like he's playing for the other team. He showed great character moving from Brazil at a very young age, and he's overcome that difficult start that he had at Real Madrid. And he's been a super talented footballer now for the last 7 or 8 years. And as I said, he's fantastic to watch. In the right team, the right environment, I'm sure he will flourish. But he's not cheap.
No, he is not cheap. Why would he be? Look, you say you love watching him in the Spanish league. We'd quite like, the neutrals amongst us would quite like him in the Premier League over here. Does Arsenal seem like a good fit, or is there somewhere else you think he'd fit in better?
No, I think any team, any of the top teams in the Premier League that are challenging for the title, that are challenging for the Champions League, would be a good fit for him. I mean, there are attributes he has, as weaknesses that he has. I don't anticipate him doing much closing down, winning the ball back, chasing fullbacks down the touchline. But you have to adjust for that. Now, whether Arteta is willing to do that, some managers will, some managers won't. But that's what you get from Vinicius. So, I mean, it's been an issue with him and Mbappe for the last 2 seasons playing together. It hasn't been a success. They haven't won a trophy. Prior to that, Vinicius was in good form. He was winning Champions Leagues, winning La Liga. So maybe Real Madrid do feel that there is a need to change. Or is it just a warning to say, if you don't sign the contract, we maybe have got another player lined up to take your place. It's your choice. But that's what you get with Vinicius. On the ball, is spectacular. But it can be problematic if he's not doing the hard work, the closing down. And we know that a lot of the top teams, top managers, particularly in the Premier League now, they like to close down from the front. And if he's not doing that, that might be a problem.
Terry, given what he's capable of and the fact that he is asking for pretty much double his wages right now, do you think Real Madrid would be foolish not to give him what he wants?
No, I don't. I think there's a limit, and there's a limit for Real Madrid as well. All their players are well paid. He's always been well paid. So if he's chasing the money at Real Madrid, they might take that. They might be offended by that. They're not. They've gone out their way to offer him a 3 or 4 year contract on 20 million euros plus a year after tax. And if they feel that he's not budging from 20 and he wants 30, then I think every club has that right to turn around and say no. And I think every club has that right then to turn around and say, you've only got a year left. We're not going to run the contract down. You're not going to run the contract down. We're going to take an offer for you now. So then he has a choice to make. So I think, as I say, I thought it was always unlikely that he would leave Real Madrid whilst in his prime. But this is getting interesting now.
It is getting interesting. Just finally then, who do you think needs it most? Does Real Madrid need him, or does he need Real Madrid?
He needs Real Madrid.
Interesting. Go on, explain more.
Well, I think that there's, you're talking about one of the arguably the biggest club in Europe. And you could make a case that anywhere apart from Real Madrid is possibly a step down. We're talking, 14 Champions Leagues, European Cups. They are, in terms of presence around the world, I can't think of anyone bigger. And that's, I'm a neutral. There's clubs in England that are very, very big. But there is no one bigger than Real Madrid. It's a monster of a football club. So not many players leave there in their prime to go elsewhere. I mean, we're talking recently, Toni Kroos stayed to the end of his career. Luka Modric pretty much stayed stayed till his 40s and left. You know, it's Ronaldo was probably the last one that stepped away. And that was one of those where you thought that never happened. But if you're stubborn and you demand too much money, Real Madrid are not afraid to turn around and say, well, no, thank you very much. We're going to take the transfer fee for you. Or you can take what we're offering and stay. So I don't think Real Madrid and Florentino Perez will ever look at a player and think, you're going to hold us over a barrel.
You make a good case, as always. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much. We watched this one with interest. Thanks, Terry.
Arsenal could be preparing one of the boldest transfer moves of the summer, as a fresh report claims the club is ready to go for it in pursuit of a Real Madrid superstar. There's also a training ground update, the latest on Arsenal's injury list, and a look at how Mikel Arteta could set his side up for the next match. Stay with us, because this Vinicius Junior story alone could shape Arsenal's entire summer. Good evening and welcome back to Victor Gunner's IQ, your daily home for everything Arsenal. Today we're covering Arsenal's reported pursuit of Vinicius Junior, a training ground update, injury news, tactical analysis, our predicted lineup and a full match prediction. Let's get straight into it. Let's start with the headline story. According to a report from The Athletic, Arsenal are aware that signing Vinicius Junior from Real Madrid will not be straightforward this summer, but sources suggest the club is determined to try anyway. Here's the situation. Vinicius's contract at the Bernabeu is set to expire at the end of next season, and reports indicate that despite ongoing talks between the player and Real Madrid over a new deal, no agreement has been reached. That uncertainty appears to have opened the door for Arsenal. It is understood that the Gunners have placed the Brazilian on their shortlist of forward targets, particularly with Arsenal still searching for attacking reinforcements after missing out on Morgan Rodgers, who completed a reported £117 million move to Chelsea last week. That miss seems to have added extra urgency to Arsenal's search for a genuine game changer out wide. And here's the key detail. Reports claim a move for Vinicius has already been approved at all levels within the Arsenal hierarchy, with sporting director Andrea Berta set to lead the pursuit personally. According to the report, Arsenal are willing to go for it, language that suggests real ambition behind the scenes, even with the difficulty of the deal acknowledged. Why would Arsenal want him? Vinicius scored 22 goals for Real Madrid last season across all competitions, as the club finished as La Liga runners-up behind rivals Barcelona and reached the Champions League quarter-finals. His pace, dribbling and end product would give Arteta a different kind of attacking weapon, someone capable of unlocking deep defences on his own. But, and this is where it gets complicated, the transfer fee being reported is significant. Real Madrid are said to be demanding around £137 million, or roughly €160 million, to consider selling, despite Vinicius having 12 months left on his current deal. On top of that, it's been suggested Vinicius himself would want an annual salary in the region of £17.1 million, working out to around £328,000 per week. So the ambition is there, the interest is real according to reports, but the financial mountain Arsenal would need to climb is enormous. Tactical fit, excellent. Feasibility, that's the real question mark hanging over this one. Moving to the training ground, Arsenal's squad continues to build toward their Premier League title defence, with Arteta expected to fine-tune his attacking options as the transfer picture becomes clearer in the coming weeks. On the injury front, Arsenal will be continuing to monitor their squad's fitness levels as preparations continue, with further updates expected closer to the next fixture. Tactically, this Vinicius pursuit tells you something important. Arteta wants a left-sided forward who can beat a man in isolation, not just rotate possession. If Arsenal can somehow find a way to fund this deal, it would represent one of the most aggressive attacking statements of the Arteta era. With the current squad, Arteta is likely to continue trusting his established front line while assessing whether reinforcements arrive before the market closes. As it stands, Arsenal remain well placed to continue building on last season's form, but a move of this magnitude could completely shift expectations heading into the new campaign. Now, I want to hear from you. Could Arsenal actually pull off a deal for Vinicius Jr.? Is this realistic or just paper talk? Drop your prediction in the comments below. So to summarise, Arsenal are reportedly prepared to go for it in pursuit of Vinicius Jr. despite the size of the challenge ahead. Berta's role will be crucial in the weeks to come. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe to Victor Gunner's IQ and hit the notification bell so you never miss an Arsenal update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts and I'll see you in the next one.